Hi! Did you know that there's dozens of books you can publish with Amazon KDP? In this video, I'm going to show you my 25 top books that I would publish on Amazon. And these books will be between low content books, medium content books, and high content books. Alright, a quick intro about us in case you're new to the channel. Cleo and I have been self-publishing on Amazon KDP since 2019. And since then, we have sold over 220,000 books. And you can see our first account, we have sold 44,000 books, and our second account, we have sold 175,000 books. And you can see this big spike here. That is actually one of our books that hit the top 100 list recently. So that was also really exciting for our own publishing journey. All right, so let's start with a definition for low content books. And this definition comes directly from Amazon KDP. So this is really important for you to notice. So it says a low content book has minimal or no content on the interior pages. Low content books are generally repetitive and designed to be filled in by the user. This does not typically include activity books such as puzzle books or coloring books, which generally do not feature repetitive content on each page. See common examples of low content books in the table below, but note that there can be exceptions. Amazon KDP. So this is directly copied from the Amazon help pages, and here's the link in case you want to check it out. I will also leave a link in the description below so you can click on it. All right, so here's some examples of low content books. So we have notebooks, planners, diaries and journals, sketchbooks, prompt journals, blank recipe books, blank comic books, log books, coupon books, scorecard books, junk journals, blank music sheets, appointment books. There's many other examples, but these are just the most popular ones. So feel free to take a screenshot of that and note them down for future inspiration for your books. All right, so let's go over medium content books. And one thing you'll notice between blogs on Google and different advice you can find in videos is that there's a confusion between low content books, medium content books, and high content books. So I also want to show a definition for medium content books just to clarify that and give you a stable point for that. So it says a medium content book is a book that offers structured content with a mix of text and interactive elements. This includes children's stories, cookbooks, short how-to guides, activity books, puzzle books, coloring books, and other similar books. These books provide practical information, entertainment, or creativity with enough content to engage a reader, but without the complexity or depth of high-content books. So medium content books would be written books that have moderate word counts, so not the most amount of words written in it, or that has user interaction like puzzle books, activity books, and coloring books, or lots of images like children's books or picture books and things like that. All right, so let me show you some examples quickly for medium content books. So this would be picture books, children books, poetry books, how-to books, cookbooks, workbooks, quote books, joke books, travel guides, coloring books, activity books, and puzzle books. All right, so now the difference between medium content books and high content books. It says here a high content book is a book with substantial written material, usually exceeding 80,000 words for fiction and usually 50,000 words for nonfiction. These books, including novels, nonfiction works, textbooks, and biographies, are characterized by their length, rich content, and intellectual or emotional engagement. High content books require more time and effort to write than medium content books. So this is where we can see the difference between children's books and high content books. Some people consider children's books as part of high content, but we want to place it in the medium content book just because of the extreme difference in terms of effort it takes to write a novel compared to a children's book. A children's book could have a few hundred words to a few thousand words, but here we can see some examples of true high content books. So the Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone has 76,000 words. The book $100 Million Leads has about 65,000 words. The 10X Rule has about 75,000 words. Atomic Habits has 85,000 words. It Starts With Us has 96,000 words. The Fellowship of the Ring has 187,000 words. Steve Jobs' biography has 212,000 words, and Harry Potter, The Order of the Phoenix has 257,000 words. So if you just take this as a stable datum, we can see that high content books are really, really in-depth. It takes a lot of work to create them. So this is why we have placed some books into medium content books, just to really differentiate between the content in them. And also just by the name itself, medium content, I think we can agree that children's books have medium content, and that high content would be much, much larger and would take much, much longer to write. So this would be high content. All right, so let's go over some examples in the top 100 bestseller books on Amazon to see what kind of books you might be able to publish. And so we can also see what books are selling really well on Amazon so we can take inspiration from that. So here you're going to notice that I have a green box around some, and some will have smiley faces as I go through this. And the smiley face will indicate that these are books targeted and written for children. And the green box would be books that would be easier to create, especially compared to novels. So here we can see the number 2 bestseller is a coloring book, so that's really cool to see. And then these books right here, these are all children's story books. So already we can see that in the top 10 results, that about half of them are targeted at kids, and one of them is a coloring book. So those books are really easy to create. And then next up, we have the next page between the rank of 13 and 30. And here we can see we have a workbook. So this is Learn How to Write. We have another coloring book by the same author, the Coco Wayo, another Coco Wayo. And then here we have a few more children's books. So this is just really nice to see that we can see that medium content books are really doing well on Amazon. Then here on the next page, we can see we have another coloring book again by the Coco Wayo author. So if you want to learn by any coloring book artist and coloring book brands, these would be the ones to study. These guys are absolutely crushing it. They're doing well, they're doing it right. And they really have cute and high quality covers and high quality interiors. So really inspiring to see a coloring book brand doing so well. Then down here, we can also see that there is a Learn How to Count and Number Tracing book. So there's another workbook for kids, really cool to see. And then obviously here we have a few more children's storybooks. And then the book right here, this is about money, but this is written and targeted for kids. So it's facts about money. So this is also a fact book. And there's many different kinds of facts books we can create. All right, so next up we have a cookbook. That's also nice to see it in the top 100. We have another kid's storybook. And then here we have another coloring book. This is by a different author. And then once again, we have Coco Wayo one more time. Moving on here, this is really cool to see. So this is 8 Little Planets. So this is a book targeted for children that is all about planets and facts about them. Then here, this is one of my favorites to see in the top 100. This is a no-grid survival project. So this is really cool to see, like this DIY kind of style book of different things you can do to survive and projects you can create. So this is really cool. And then here we have another cookbook. This cookbook is for young chefs. So this is also really cool and fun to see in the top 100. Here we have more books for children's. And then here we have lots more kids story books. And here one more coloring book. So this is also great. So I have analyzed the top 100 books and broke it down into categories so you can absorb this information even easier. So within the top 100, 23 of the books were kids story books, 16 of the books were fiction books, 6 of them were coloring books, 2 of them were activity books, there was 2 cookbooks, 2 kids workbooks, 2 fact books, and then the other books in the top 100 were nonfiction, self-help, finance, health, religion, finance, I guess that's duplicate, and biography. So I think it's really interesting to see that kids storybooks are doing so well, and they have more books than any other book in the top 100, and then coloring books and activity books are also doing really well. So next I analyzed it even further. So this is just really interesting data to see. So out of the 100 books, 37 of them were hardcover books, 46 of them were paperback books, and 17 of them were other formats. So this is really interesting to see that there's actually so many hardcover books that are doing well. So if you're already doing Amazon KDP and you're doing paperback books, even though hardcover books are more expensive, I think it's definitely worth considering making a hardcover version of the same book and then linking them together, and then the customer can decide. The more books you have, the more chance you have of getting sales, so it can't hurt anything. The next step, I analyzed all of the prices and I worked out the average price and the high price. So the average price between the hardcover books was $16.20, and the highest price hardcover book I could find in the top 100 was $24.49. So this is also really cool to see that we don't have to always race to the bottom, and we are allowed to have higher priced books. So I really want to encourage you to try and not race to the bottom, do higher priced books, and go get yourself some profits for the hard work that you put into your books. All right, so next up we had the paperback average price, and this is the average price amongst the 46 books in the top 100, and the average price was $12.41, and the highest paperback book was $39. So you can see it's quite high. Obviously this book had a lot of pages, and I think it could have even been a colored book, but nonetheless it is okay to charge a lot for a book and it still sells, as you can see. So really get the racing to the bottom out of your head and really try to focus in the medium range to high range for prices. All right, so next step, this is just to show you what the average star rating was between all the top 100 books. And the average amongst all of them was 4.7. So this just shows us that quality really counts with Amazon KDP. A few years ago, one was able to get away with more quantity, but now these days it is quality and then quantity added to that. So make sure every book that you create is worthy of 5 stars. If you don't think it's worthy of 5 stars, don't publish it until you make it so. And then one thing that I found really inspiring amongst the top 100 books, there was one particular book that had an average star rating of 4.9 stars. So it's almost 5 stars, and that is out of 75,000 reviews. Isn't that just inspiring? I think this is something that we should all aim for, to be like this. I mean, could you just imagine creating a book that gets 4.9 stars average reviews, especially with 75,000 people voting on it? I think it's just incredible to see. All right, so next step. So in the top 100, there was 78 different authors. And then 12 authors out of the 78 authors had 2 books in the top 100. And then here, just to individualize these people, so the top individual authors in the top 100. So number 1 is Coco Waya with 6 books and listing in the top 100. Next up, we have Peter Brown with 4 books in the top 100. Next up, we have Sarah Maas with 3 books. Frida McFadden, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing all these names correctly, has 3 books in the top 100, and Colleen Hoover also has 3 books. So it's really cool to see that the coloring book has more books out of any other person. But the other good thing we can take away from this is that if you create one really high quality book and you have a series or other books in your author profile, that people will look for it and also buy the other books. So this we can clearly see by this author. They've created one book which became a complete bestseller, and after one book took off, all the other books started selling better as well. So definitely create a series if you can, and definitely create an author profile and link all of your books in there so people can find all of your other books. All right, so I hope you found this video useful and you gained some knowledge from this. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for future videos, and I'll see you soon. Bye.